Home is where connections are made, memories are formed, and ideas are born. And no one knows home better than NFM. Thanks for tuning in to I Am Home, the podcast that goes deeper than trends and dives into what it means to make your house a home.
Welcome to I Am Home, the Home Life Best Life podcast. I'm Tyler Weiskup, joined by my co-host, who is Scrub-a-Dub-Dub. She truly shines in this podcast tub. It's Becca Sudbeck.
Hi, Tyler.
Hi, Becca. And our other co-host, she puts the magic in Magic Eraser. It's Hilary Waltemath.
Hey.
Hi, Hilary. This month, our theme is That's Scary. And we're kicking things off with something truly horrifying, stubborn stains. And that was all of my very bad puns at the beginning of the introductions here. But before we get to our topic of stubborn stains, let me tell you why we're even doing this podcast. And that's because NFM is more than just your everything home store. We're in the business of improving lifestyles because your home life should be your best life. You can learn more at nfm.com. Okay, so who's ready for our guest? He's joining us here in the NFM studios. It's Steve Coe. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Eagle-eyed or eared viewers may recognize Steve from our Weber Grills episode. In addition to his work with Weber, he's also a stain specialist extraordinaire person with Bissell.
Yes, that is correct. I guess you can call me a jack of all trades.
It's very, very impressive. Yes. When
thank you.
we heard this, we were like, Steve is get him stat. So, and I actually understand that your nickname at home is the Stain Master. Like everyone refers to you that way.
Yes, that's because my wife and my kids, every time something happens at home on the floor, they're like, Steve, come pick this up. The dog threw up, or the dog, so I get out my machine, get the formula going, and just work on it and get it out. So, yes. So They call me the Stain Master. Some people might think, hey, I make the stains. But no, I clean the stains.
Okay.
So, yes.
Stain Master on cleaning side of it.
Yes,
okay,
on the cleaning side.
Right. Yeah. And do you think they're like kind of using that as an excuse because
Yes.
you're repping? Is that
I just don't think they want to do it.
Oh, okay.
They're like, oh, dog vomit. Yeah, that's okay. We'll just pass it on to Steve.
I think they call that gaslighting, right?
Yes.
Steve, you're so good.
Yes, you're the best. Yeah.
No. But we can tell that obviously, I mean, the way that we were talking about off mic, some of like the technical side of things that you clearly have knowledge beyond just like, okay, I got this in, I'm leafing through the manual. You've got some extended training and education around this kind of stuff that helps make it a little bit easier to kind of tackle these tough stains, which is a goal for us and helping to kind of share with our listeners today.
Yeah, just from all experience. I mean, I've been repping Bissell for now about 15 years, and we used to foster dogs. I mean, we have little kids, company, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you learn as you go through and work on these stubborn stains. So yeah.
The knowledge and personal experience. Perfect mix here. So I'd love to start by asking both you, Steve, and the whole group, what's maybe the worst stain that you've ever had in your house?
I can go,
Steve.
spilling paint on the carpet.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, no.
That's probably the worst. But of
yeah.
course I did that. So yeah.
Is it a big spot? Or
Yeah,
did
it
you
was
get some?
a big spot.
Yeah.
That took a while to finally get out.
You got it out?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, that's the thing. Like with a stain, the quicker you can react to a stain, the better the chances of getting it out are. So yeah. But yeah, that was probably one of the worst ones.
Was it latex paint, oil paint?
I think it was just a water-based. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's probably easier to get out
Yes.
than an oil-based.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, paint is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I agreed. Yeah, you got to get on that fast.
Yeah.
I have a kid. One of my kids he's sort of clumsy, but also he stubs his toe all of the time. Gets blood all over the carpet. Plus, he gets really bad bloody noses like all the time. And so between the toe blood and his nose, he's always, I feel like, constantly, and he doesn't like realize it. So it'll just be like. And it's wherever you go, like you might walk up the stairs.
There's a trail.
Yeah, he's
follow
fun.
the crime scene.
Pretty much.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's happened multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
you've
yeah.
been able to like figure out a way to get it out. And if you
Yeah,
had some,
but maybe, I don't know,
yeah,
maybe Steve has some better
extra-
ideas for me.
some extra help from
Yes.
Steve. Okay.
Yes, I mean, we have so far not had to replace the carpet yet,
Yeah.
but
Solid.
That's
Yeah.
good. So my question then is, with the bloody nose and stuff, do you use warm water or do you use cold water?
it's usually warm.
Ooh,
Bad?
that bad. Yes.
Okay.
So you always want to use cold water when it comes to like a protein type
Okay.
stain. The reason why is warm water will help like break up the molecules and make the blood clump up, so it makes it harder to get out of the carpet.
Oh,
and
okay,
stuff. So
okay.
cold water just is much
Okay.
is what you're supposed to use. So,
All right. See, I feel like the back of the thing that I have says use warm, so I
Oh.
just did, but it's probably pretty like it's not telling you what kind of stains you're
Well, it
getting.
depends on how
Yeah.
long. I mean, obviously, cold water when you want to do it right away.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I usually am
Yeah.
trying to
Okay.
clean this up pretty
Sit-
stat.
You just don't let it sit. I'm gonna let it dry.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
We'll just worry about that later. It's very
Okay.
sanitary.
Got it. Got it.
Oh.
Step over it. It'll be fine.
Just ignore it.
All right. We're getting lessons right off the bat.
Mhm.
Thanks, Steve.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Hillary, did you have a stubborn stain that you can?
Oh my gosh.
can
Well,
think
you
of?
could call me the stain master because I'm always staining stuff.
Oh.
So there's
Opposite.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, all the time. Frequently have dog mess to clean up because we foster.
Mhm.
The other really bad one that stuck with me forever is when I was a kid, we were not supposed to have candles in our room, like big no. Well, I had like a floating candle left over from a wedding, and I was counting my fundraiser money, and I just needed to set the mood, so perfect time to light this floating candle in a plastic cup.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so it melted all down the side
Oh.
of my furniture and then onto the carpet and then like caught fire. But
Oh.
there was a lot of wax to
yeah.
clean up from that and melted plastic. So I don't know if that counts as like a stain, but it was
I mean,
a
yeah,
mess.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is one where I assume you weren't able to just like wipe up.
No. I did learn like a trick with a like towel. I think there's towel, maybe parchment paper and an iron involved. So you like iron over it. So
So
it
it
like,
like sticks to the
Uh-huh.
parchment paper.
Yeah.
Oh,
It-
interesting.
Yes.
Whatever you heat it back up. And
Yeah.
It sticks to the parchment.
yeah. So we were able to get that one up, but
Oh, good. Some recovery
Uh-huh.
was happened.
yes.
Some
Yeah.
life skills were learned.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's part of my legacy probably in my family.
This story comes up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I think we've got some good stain examples. We talked blood. We talked plastic wax mess.
Uh-huh.
So we've got some different things to kind of cover, but I figured probably the best place for us to start is talk about maybe in the framing of like how to first thing is like maybe how to avoid stain messes altogether,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Do we have any advice for
Me?
for Hillary specifically about avoiding stains, whether it's the idea of like putting rules in your house for food and drink,
Yes.
or anything about specific kinds of fabrics, that kind of thing.
Well, you can set those rules like, hey, you can only use straws or whatever in your glasses or anything like that. Another rule: don't wear shoes in the house. I
Yeah.
am so guilty of that. My wife just pulls her hair out.
Yeah.
Vacuuming your furniture consistently, like on a weekly, every 2 weeks or whatever, just because some of those dirt molecules and stuff can just get embedded in there and then create stains later and stuff.
Okay.
Fabric protection is one of the best things you can do. If you buy a new piece of furniture or whatever, make sure you get it like sprayed down with, a stain resistant chemical and stuff like that. But yeah.
Can I ask you a question for that?
Yes.
Because some people, I don't know that, like, you hear about like this chemical stuff
Yeah.
that you can put on
Yeah.
the fabrics, but a lot of people are like, what does that actually do? And
So-
I'm curious if if anyone on the team can kind of explain that a little
So my understanding is that it acts more of a barrier so
Mhm.
that the molecules cannot attach to the fiber of
Right,
the
they don't
fabric.
soak into it.
Yes,
Mhm.
correct.
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
So adding that, just this chemical adds like some
yes,
sort of
makes it easier to
barrier
clean.
over it and
Yes.
just makes it a little bit easier. It's not like it's gonna like, it's not like that fabric that you can like, oh, I'm gonna
Like
drop my
magic or
spaghetti and it
whatever.
just like
Yeah.
falls right off.
Slides right off.
Yeah.
That's not what it does, but it like just makes it a little bit easier.
Easier to
It's kind of
pick up
protecting.
that mess
Yes.
when it happens right away.
Yes.
And my understanding, doing some research on this is like if you have that and you let it sit for a while, those stain resistant fabrics, if a stain sets in it, it's actually harder to get
Yeah.
out.
I think
Mhm.
that's true.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, you have to get it, you have to address it quickly, I
Yeah.
feel like, for it to work like it's supposed to.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's just like again, bringing up the topic of preventing stains. Just pick it up right away.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes you can't always find them. Your dog roams around or whatever. Keep your dogs and kids off the couch.
Mhm.
Is
Put a
another
cover.
rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids and dogs
off
off
the
the
couch.
couch.
I love that rule.
Uh-huh.
You guys cannot sit here.
Sit on the floor. There you go. And so we have dog beds too. And so what my wife does to prevent the dog beds from getting stained or just getting messy and dirty, she buys a crib sheet and she puts the crib sheet over the dog beds. And so every week she just washes
Yeah,
the
that makes
crib
sense.
sheet.
Much
So
easier to wash.
There you go.
So
Yeah. Good tips. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about some general rules. I'm curious, are there like certain types of fabrics that are more generally resistant to stains?
So usually you're going to have like a microfiber or polyester that is more stain resistant, easier to clean up messes and stuff like that. But then when you get into silk and things like that, those are a lot harder to actually clean. So like if you're out looking for, let's say, a couch or sofa or any type of piece of furniture that's got fabric on it, you want to look at the fabric, kind of evaluate the situation you have. Do I have tons of kids? Do I have people over? Do I have dogs and stuff like that?
Yep.
So you're going to want to buy some type of furniture that is a performance fabric, is I think what they call it. So yeah.
And Hilary knows about performance fabrics. We just had a podcast specifically about this. Unfortunately, we weren't able to be there, but Hilary got some education on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some performance
so
fabrics.
safe to say that like natural fibers are more likely to stain than like your
Synthetic ones.
synthetic
Yeah.
ones. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So they were also talking about this like with cotton, which is a natural
Mhm.
fiber. The thing with that though is like they're easier to get stains out. Like it was weird because you take a cotton shirt,
Mhm.
you say you have a stain that's set in, natural, like because it's the water can penetrate it and get it out. So it comes back to that thing of like helps prevent stains, but if you
Mhm.
let a stain sit there a while, it's gonna be harder to get out of that synthetic versus
Interesting.
it's kind of a very there's a lot of science behind all this stuff.
Uh-huh.
And trust me, I have no science degree in this. But
But you are the stain master.
I am the stain
Right.
master.
So, I
Yes. Yes, I make my family call me that as I enter the house. So.
The stain master has it right. Okay. So I love this. Okay. So are there, last question around this topic of prevention, are there any specific types of foods or drinks that are more likely to cause difficult stains versus so, I don't know, which things would you most be most cautious about, I guess, is the general
most
question.
cautious. Obviously, you hear about red wine
Uh-huh.
all
Yeah.
the time.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I mean, red wine, coffee stains, egg yolk stains, and stuff like that, because that's a protein base.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
those are particularly
Anything
bad.
tomato?
Oh yeah. Well,
Like-
anytime I wear a white
Okay.
shirt,
Uh-huh.
yeah, those type of stains are always. It's just you're subject to getting something on your shirt or on the
Mhm.
couch and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's like the more red, vibrant color, the more it's gonna get on the piece of furniture. So
Yeah, what did I see the other day? It was like, how come Dawn dish soap can get oil out of those ducks, but I can't get tomato sauce out of my Tupperware.
That's a good point. Sorry.
It just sticks around forever. Anything with like any red tomato sauce.
Might be time to
is
toss that and get a new one. I don't know.
I don't know. Does that have more to say about the tomato sauce than it
Yeah.
does the Tupperware? I don't know.
Maybe because the tomato sauce is more acidic and
Yeah.
the,
Red
the
number
ducks are
40 is
oil
in
based,
there.
type stain.
I
I
don't
don't
Yeah,
know.
could be.
Sounds good.
I think it's true.
Lock
Yeah.
that in as fact.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'd love to kind of talk about, so we've kind of hinted at a few things that we can do for recovery after you do have a stain.
Mhm.
I'd love to dive into that a little bit more. So when you get a stain, what should you do first? We've laid out a couple things, but let's repeat them just to kind of make sure that we've captured all of them.
The first thing you should do is react quickly. I think we've talked about that a few times already.
So I have friends that are like, no, you just let it sit and then like you can clean it up later because it'll be dry.
Oh.
You can scrape it off.
Oh. Depending on what type of
Wax.
stains, maybe.
Wax.
Maybe, or I
Okay, I just want to
Okay.
like last time we had you on myth busting.
Yes, myth busting.
So I don't know who believes this. If this is just one friend that I need to be
I
cautious
think it's your
around.
one friend that you
Okay.
should be cautious.
Don't go to their house.
Yeah.
also.
Oh, don't worry about it.
You
Yeah.
don't get to eat or drink at yours either.
Okay.
Reminds me of the episode where you drop spaghetti on Joey's floor and like, oh, don't worry about it. Yeah. So
React quickly.
React
Yes.
quickly. Yes. One thing that people think they need to do is like automatically get some hot water and start rubbing it in. You don't want to do that. You want to blot it up, dab it so you get up as most moisture as possible with it. The thing with scrubbing it, you could actually get those molecules and stuff embedded even further into the surface or whatever. Yeah, and create more of a stain. So
The
evaluate
blotting
the
is
stain.
like trying to like lift it
Yeah,
versus like,
exactly. Instead of
rubbing
trying
it
to
in.
wipe it up and stuff,
Yeah.
just dab it.
Yeah.
So do that. Evaluate what type of stain it is. Like if it's a red wine, oil-based, water-based, things like that. And then do some research. That's what a lot of people do is, hey, just Google what type of stain, what to take off. But if you have certain chemicals or a machine at home that can do it, then use that because a lot of them will have oxy in it. And oxy does get out a lot of different stains. But one thing we were talking about earlier was like if it's a blood stain, again, remember, always use cold water, Becca. But no, you have to evaluate the stain, know what it is, and go from there and just research, make sure you're researching the correct topic. So
Gotcha.
I heard once that like best practice with any stain is to kind of like saturate it right away to kind of like break it up so it doesn't set in. I think that was maybe on clothing more than it was like carpet or like an upholstered surface in your home.
Sometimes you can actually oversaturate with water and create even another stain, like a water ring or something like that in stain. You want to use just the right amount and make sure it dries. Now, if you do use a lot of water, just make sure you either use the machine to suck it all up or dry it so it has time. But yeah, you can oversaturate a stain.
Okay.
So
Interesting. Yeah.
Saturate just the right amount.
yes. Yes.
This
Very
goes back to
precise.
your question about like trying to like do a little bit of research. I mean, you're trying to react quickly,
Absolutely.
but like, is there specific resources that you would send people to like, or is it just as simple as like, I got a wool rug and
So yeah,
blood stain.
that actually brings up a great point. One thing too is depending on what let's say you spilled or have the stain on. If it's a piece of furniture, you should always look at the manufacturer's cleaning codes and stuff to see what can be used on that.
Yes,
Some people
we
do.
all have those located in like very easy to find place.
In that drawer
Yeah.
of manuals.
I mean, when you buy it, you should know right away. Right?
Yeah. You don't have that memorized?
Yeah. But yeah, just make sure you're not using a certain like detergent or bleach on something, But yeah, just look at the manufacturer code because sometimes it's dry cleaning only. And
Yeah.
you get it wet and stuff like that, you're gonna have another like spot.
Yeah.
That's gonna drive you crazy.
Yeah. So thankfully we have like search engines. We can go just like
Yes.
remind ourselves if
Yeah.
we don't if we can't find it in the drawer
Manuals.
drawer of manuals,
I'm
we
sure
can
there's
go
a
find that
good
stuff.
housekeeping
pretty
article
quick.
that's good.
Yeah.
One of the greatest things that I have used is like I've purposely spilt wine just on the carpet. Yes,
No,
I know
Steve.
I have just to try it, right?
Yeah.
So I spilt it on the carpet.
This is at your house?
Yes.
Wow.
So we're at a friend's house.
And I took a paper towel and I just dabbed it, but you could still see the red mark on it. And then I had some chemical formula spray that has oxy in it, right?
Yeah.
And it's amazing. You just spray it and you just see it disappear. It is, it's crazy. And then you just dry it up and it's gone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I
So
can attest to that. We had a red wine stain on a rug,
Yeah.
and I had like just powder of like the oxy powder.
Yeah.
And it was able to like get it up. Then no sign of it. It's a patterned rug, so I think that helped. But
yeah.
I was amazed at how well that worked.
yeah. So is that like the proper procedure then? Like you've got a stain like that, you're getting up as much as you can. You're using like paper towel, you're using regular towel, doesn't matter.
Whatever's available.
Okay. Your dog.
I'm using
like,
a white, nice, fancy towel that hangs in the
you
bathroom.
grab your bathroom towel.
That's for guests
Right.
only.
Monogram
sounds
towel.
totally
The ones that
right.
are monogrammed from
Yeah.
Nana.
Yes.
This one looks like a non-important one.
So yeah, so I paper towel, whatever's around,
Okay.
do that, dry it up, and then if you have like a formula that you use for those stains, spray it on there, let it sit for a little bit, and then dab it back up. Sometimes you might have to repeat it a couple times, but eventually, if you can't get it out, that's the time to call a professional cleaner.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Or so is this the natural question? I mean, because there are a lot of tools that people can buy now, Bissell included, having that like help get up, especially in like, I think we think about carpet cleaners a lot, but a lot of them can be used on upholstery now as well.
Yeah.
And so what's the difference between like, okay, I've got a stain like that. When do I need to have some extra power, a little extra boost? When, like, how do you help people kind of make that decision?
So, I mean, that's a great question. I get that asked all the time. So we have spot cleaners and we have upright deep cleaners. Okay. The upright deep cleaners are going to be more for like a whole house, whole room. You know, you're doing the entire carpet and floor. Spot cleaner is great to have, let's say, for just little accidents that happen every once in a while, whether it's a pet mess or anything like that. But some of the upright deep cleaners that we have actually have hose attachments on there so that you could do the spot cleaning. The only thing people complain about with that is that you have to get the whole thing
It's
out.
big.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Whereas the portable one is a lot easier to carry. The portable one you can actually take out and use on your car upholstery if you want to as well.
Oh, cool.
But it's very handy to have on hand, especially the ones that are cordless, because you
Yeah.
just spray it
Anywhere you go.
anywhere you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that Bissell pet, like little green with the handle.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's so nice to just like pull that out of the closet. We have the big like upright one too, but it's very cumbersome. Like,
No, it is. Absolutely. And like every once in a while, you clean your carpets, maybe once, twice a year, do a nice deep clean, get them refreshed and stuff like that. And another way, you were kind of jump back about preventing stains. Always make sure you vacuum every, week, especially if you have pet hair everywhere too. So yeah, that will help prevent as well.
Yeah, because that can get ground in.
Yeah.
So onto the machines themselves. Are
Yes.
they, so if let's say somebody is living under a rock and they don't know how these things work at all. So like, is it just sucking up? Is it spraying things? Like what is, like, how does?
So the way these portable cleaners work is that it's electric. You plug it in, you turn it on, you'll hear it going, and you have a little trigger that sprays the formula onto the stain, right? So you spray it on there, let it sit for maybe a minute, and then you basically then we'll suck it up. Just kind of scrub it in just a little bit, not hard, but just kind of move it a while, and then they'll suck up all the moisture in there. So
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then with like
They don't have brushes or things like that.
so there are brushes
Okay.
like for an upright deep cleaner. There are the ones that rotate. So they get really down into the carpet fibers and basically suck up all the dirt and stuff. Basically, the way to actually deep clean a floor carpet is you'll hold the trigger going forward, hold the trigger back going backwards. Let go of the trigger. So now you're done spraying the formula,
Mhm.
and then go over that same area forward and backwards to suck up the remaining moisture and stuff. So yeah.
Mhm.
It's so disgusting, but so satisfying.
Oh my gosh,
to
when
look
you
at your
dump the
water.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy because we also make hard floor cleaners as well.
Mhm.
Like we have a Crosswave that actually vacuums and scrubs at the same time. But every time we do it, every single time when we do it 2 to 3 times a week,
Ew.
the water, the
Uh-huh.
water is just
You're like, how does it get so
yeah.
disgusting? Like it's
I'm like, I'm filthy.
opaque. Yeah.
I mean, we
Uh-huh.
do have dogs, and like
Uh-huh.
I said, I do wear shoes in
Mhm.
the house. I gotta stop that.
They look clean though when you walk in, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I mean,
Get you some house shoes.
yeah.
Exactly.
Inside only.
You know, at those real estate openings where you get the little
Yes,
slipper
the
things,
booties.
the
Yeah.
booties. Yes, that's what we're gonna do.
Another preventative measure. Everyone
Yes,
has to
perfect.
leave them by your door.
So are there specific like products that you point people to
Yes.
help? I mean, we've mentioned ones that have oxy.
Yep.
Is that something that we can apply to everything, or is that something that we need to be a
Pretty
little bit
much
more cautious?
everything there's portable formulas, and there's also upright deep clean formulas. There are formulas that are specific for, let's say, pet odors, urine eliminators and stuff like that. So you really, what it comes down to is speaking with the customer or the consumer, finding out what their needs are, what their situation at home looks like. If they have lots of pets and that's what their main focus is, then I will direct them towards a formula that is specific to pets. If it's just if they don't have pets, then I would any type of clean refresh with oxy or anything like that. So, and some of the formulas that we do have actually have almost like a preventative measure for like a Scotch Guard type chemical in there. So the formula will have a preventive measure in there as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Because I think with pet messes, there's like an enzyme in there that helps like break down, because like once it happens once, like getting rid of that,
And
they can still smell it. So
Yeah.
getting something that's like pet specific that
Gotcha.
has like those enzymes that helps break that down.
Yep.
Told is
No, you're right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, remarking that area is something
Uh-huh.
that happens. So
Yeah.
being able to prevent that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Any final words of wisdom, tips, advice that you would send people, have them suggest for them when it comes to the scariness of stubborn stains?
So don't make them. Be careful. No.
Kids off the furniture.
Yeah, exactly. I would say just first and foremost, just evaluate the situation, right? What kind of stain it is? Would you spill? What's it on? Is it on your carpet? Is it on your furniture? And also, I recommend highly researching alternatives if they don't feel like safe, or just looking online to find out what they recommend for, let's say, wine, grape juice, things like that. Because there's a lot of things you can do. A lot of research online to find out, like baking soda, vinegar, all that kind of stuff.
You send us like some links. Bissell has like really great like how-tos and like suggestions and just a whole list of like scenarios to help kind of like the consumer along when they're trying to.
Yep. If you Google getting stains out, you find a plethora of information.
And there's a ton of other sites as well.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep. So other than that, I mean, just be careful.
I think like being prepared to, like, there's a number of times like accident happens and you're like, wait, is that under the sink or is it in the closet? Like, have your stuff ready and make sure your sprays or whatever are like not empty. Have a backup on hand.
Yeah, I've had
run into
people
that.
call and say, Steve, can we borrow one of your deep cleaners? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So they weren't prepared, right? So, but it was only like within 12 hours. So I think they were okay.
Yeah.
But it was a bad pet mess. I was just like, I don't know if I want that bad.
Yeah. It'll never be the same.
Yeah, exactly. Poor machine.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that I didn't have this question prepared, but like cleaning the machines themselves, is that something that like
yes
you have to consider, especially if you're cleaning up some really bad messes?
Absolutely. And some of the portable machines that we have with their hoses, they have a hydro rinse attachment that you put on the top of it, and it actually cleans out the hose itself.
Oh, nice.
One thing too is I highly recommend when you clean up your mess and you have the dirty water tank, always dump it right away, because some people
Yeah,
leave it
ew. Yeah.
and then all of a sudden out of sight, out of mind, right?
Stinks.
And you start
Stinks.
smelling
Yeah.
something, you're like, ooh. And then I always like with the clean water tank, sometimes I leave that in there, but I always like to freshen it up with like some warm water for a stain that needs warm water. So, but then, just making sure you take care of it like any other product or, machines people have. Just look at the cleaning instructions and go from there.
I will say the two Bissells I have come with like tools,
Yes.
like, because there's the part that's like on the floor is like really narrow. So it's had this like plastic tool that lets you like get up in there and like fish all the stuff out. And like it comes apart completely and easily, that it just like snaps back together.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about the one I've got, is it's so easy to clean.
And I was going to say, they also come with all our machines and stuff like that come with trial size formula too, as well. So
Nice.
we have tons of different types of formulas, but we pack it with specific formulas kind of for that machine itself, especially for their pets, because a lot of our machines and a lot of our items are based around pets and stuff like that. So, the trial size formula is great. The extra tools, you have pet tools that will catch hair and that gets sucked up into the machine itself. So
Yeah. Big fan.
Yeah.
They're powerful tools. Hilary raves.
Yes.
So.
Yes, I do.
So, Steve, thank you so much for being here. But like Bissell and Stains, we're going to have to say goodbye for now.
Yes.
And thanks for being here, though. I also want to thank my co-hosts, Becca and Hilary, and our co-producers, Scott and Ann. And finally, I want to thank our listeners. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and do that wherever you listen. Then hop over to nfm.com/podcast, where you can send us your questions, from design challenges to product recommendations and beyond. We're giving free advice there. And that'll do it for us for now. But last thing to remember, as always, is home is what you make it.
Thanks for joining us today for I Am Home with Tyler Weisskopf, Hilary Woltemath, and Becca Sudbeck. No one knows home quite like NFM. So if you'd like more information on home design at NFM, please check out nfm.com and leave us a review on the podcast platform of your choice.